The peaceful transfer of power just a day away. Ahead on Face the State, our 45th president will become our 47th president on Inauguration Day tomorrow. Ohio's J.D. Vance will also make history when he is sworn in. We're talking with the vice chair of the Ohio GOP about her expectations for Inauguration Day as she prepares to be there. New Ohio Senator Bernie Moreno will also be there. He's looking to hit the ground running as he begins his term.
I didn't come to play, as they say. I came to actually do things, and we're going to get to work right away.
Plus, what he says he's putting in place to be able to reach Ohioans in all corners of the state. Inauguration Day coincides with Martin Luther King Jr. Day this year. We're looking at the history of the day honoring the civil rights leader and how it's being marked here in Central Ohio. And a massive development project for Central Ohio and the Silicon Heartland. A company that makes drones for the military is investing millions in a new facility and creating thousands of jobs. Face the State starts now. Right now, the stage is being set and security preparations are underway as the nation prepares for a peaceful transfer of power. In just 24 hours, President Joe Biden will leave the White House, and the 45th president, Donald Trump, will become the 47th. Thanks for joining us for Face the State. I'm Doug Petcash. When Trump is sworn in tomorrow, he will become only the second president in U.S. history to serve two non-consecutive terms, the other being Grover Cleveland in the late 1800s. He is also the oldest president-elect in our nation's history. Along with that, another first, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. He will become the first vice president from Ohio and the nation's 50th vice president. And in Vance's hometown, city leaders are ready to let everyone know where he got his start. The city of Middletown shared this photo of their new road signs. They will be installed at the entrances to the city to honor the nation's 50th vice president. The 40-year-old Vance was born in Middletown in 1984 and is a 2003 graduate of Middletown High School. Joining me now is an Ohioan who will be at the inauguration in Washington, D.C., Ohio GOP Vice Chair and Franklin County GOP Chair, Meredith Friedhoff. Meredith, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
So, what will you be doing at the inauguration?
I will be celebrating with everyone in Ohio. We have over 300 Ohioans coming, and we've planned lunches, breakfasts, gatherings, and an Ohio ball. So we are very excited to celebrate.
Now, is this your first one?
It's my first one.
So what are your expectations going into it about maybe the hustle and bustle of the day or what's going to be happening?
I was at the convention, so I've been referring to it as Convention 2.0.
Okay.
A lot of scheduling, buses to take you different places, and meeting a lot of people from other states as well. So
how big of an opportunity is this for you, for other members of the Ohio GOP, to network, to maybe take care of some Ohio business while you're there?
It's a great opportunity to represent Ohio there. We have been in the front and center stage for so many things in this past year. Ohio's own J.D. Vance, we're over the moon about that. Senator-elect Bernie Moreno was just sworn in. Over 300 people went to D.C. to celebrate that with him, and I went as well. He's going to be a fantastic senator. And then with the national game coming up, the Buckeyes, we have a great chance to really make a statement there and be a light at this inauguration.
Are you going to be able to skip out of the balls or anything to be able to check out the national championship game?
If JD figures out a way, I'm following him.
Well, he did tweet that, would anybody mind if I went to the national championship? I take it that was tongue-in-cheek.
I thought that was hilarious, but that's how we all feel. We're Buckeyes. We're so excited. So two very important things are happening at the same time, but I'm certain we will be at the inauguration activities.
So I know that many members of the in-state politicians, as well as the GOP leadership, is going to be there. You talked about the people you can talk to and whatnot, but is there anything specific that the Ohio delegation that's going to this will be focusing on as you rub elbows and shake hands?
I think we focus on the message that the president has given us about rebirth, reunification, hope, all the plans, all the mandates the American people gave us. We are supporting of that. JD's supporting of that. Senator Moreno's supportive of that. So we will continue to hold that up and a big part of our conversations for sure.
So, in the big picture of things, what are your expectations for this second Trump administration?
I expect him to do the things he said he was going to do, and they're Herculean lifts, but I think the committees he's appointing is going to be very helpful. I think the primary thing that we have to do is secure our border. 2/3 of Americans want a more secure border, and I think that has to start on day one. And I think once we figure that out, then we can work on legal immigration in a way that people can come here legally, and we can support them.
Of course, the economy was also a huge issue this time. The president-elect during the campaign had said, he was going to bring down inflation and bring down prices. He backed off that, somewhat after the election, saying, it's not easy to bring prices down right away. Do you think that was the right thing for him to kind of lower the bar for the expectations on that? And do you still see that as a big issue that he'll be attacking?
I think it's a huge issue. You've heard people say we don't have a money problem, we have a spending problem. And I think that's true. And I think people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and Doge can take a look at that and save some dollars that will trickle down to the American people that are struggling.
And so when you look at J.D. Vance, 40 years old, vice president-elect, only served in the Senate for 2 years before now rising to be vice president. Many times vice presidents kind of fade into the background, obviously, because there's the president that's leading the way. What are your expectations for him? Do you expect him to be in the shadows?
I do not expect that at all. VP-elect J.D. Vance is dynamic, brilliantly smart, and energetic. He's a young man with great ideas and a great future. I expect him to be a leader throughout.
Have you had a chance to talk to him? Do you know, a lot of times vice presidents will have a platform, an issue that they focus on. Have you heard anything along those lines?
Immigration and the border is a key to securing safety. Everything that's happening with the drugs coming into our country, missing children and trafficking, we have to, there's a human element to this that we have to address and fix, and safe communities. We're in an urban county. Urban counties struggle with safety, and the residents have told us they need help.
No matter what, Ohio is going to have 2 brand new senators with no long-time experience in the Senate. Do you find that to be perhaps a disadvantage in getting the ball rolling for things that are important for Ohio?
Not at all.
Why not?
When I met with Senator Bernie Moreno in D.C. at his swearing in, he's already put in a team that's working from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and overnight as well. He believes in customer service because of his background. He wants to have the best team to serve the people of Ohio for all of their needs. I think that he's going to run this like a business, and he's going to be very effective. I also think our Republican bench is so deep and so smart and hardworking that whomever the governor chooses to be our next senator is going to already have the tools to be very successful.
Now, obviously, Republicans did very well in the past election, nationally and here in Ohio. With that behind us, what is the focus for the Ohio GOP now? You were obviously focused on getting candidates elected, but now that's over. So what are you focusing on now?
I want to continue that momentum and bring that to each county so that we can unite and make better plans for our state moving forward. We're focusing on local elections, we're focusing on city council elections, and raising up good candidates that can fill some positions in Ohio that are going to be open, and also spreading the word that we are here for people. We have plans to make things better in the state at a local level, and a lot of county chairs are involved in that.
Meredith Friedhoff, Vice Chair of the Ohio GOP, thanks for your time today and your perspective on the Inauguration Day tomorrow.
Thank you. It's nice to see you.
Stay warm.
Thank you.
It's going to be cold. Well, just this past week, I did have a chance to talk one-on-one with Ohio's new Senator, Republican Bernie Moreno. We covered many topics, including his plans for Inauguration Day. He says he will celebrate the Trump victory, which he calls a victory for America, but then get back to business.
Hopefully what we do is immediately after the inauguration's over, that we get right back into the building and confirm every single one of President Trump's cabinet nominees, especially those that involve national security, so that President Trump has a full and complete team in place. That's the goal here in the Republican conference, and that's what we're poised to get done.
I also asked Moreno about his focus as his 6-year term kicks off. He says the first priority is putting his state team together.
We have a state team unlike anything else. We're going to make the announcement over the next 2 weeks. We're going to have offices in every corner of the state. Sherrod Brown had offices in Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati. We'll have offices throughout the entire state, and we're going to do it at the exact same cost to the taxpayer that Sherrod Brown only had 3 or 4 offices. So we've put that apparatus in place. We're then going to have an executive council in place. That's business leaders throughout the state that are getting exactly $0 to do this, led by Mark Kwame, who's uniquely qualified to do this. Come Monday, when President Trump's inaugurated, we can get to work and really get the things done that I campaigned on. I wasn't here. I didn't come to play, as they say. I came to actually do things, and we're going to get to work right away.
And as the president-elect gets ready to take office, there are still some appointments he needs to make, including U.S. Ambassador to Haiti. Some reports are claiming Trump is considering Ohio Governor Mike DeWine for the position. The governor and First Lady have had a close connection to Haiti for decades. A school named after their daughter, Becky, who died in a car accident in 1993, has helped thousands of poor Haitian children over the last 25 years. When 10 TV asked the governor if he would be interested in the ambassador role, this was his response.
If you are asked, will you accept the U.S. ambassador's job to Haiti?
Fran, I've been very focused on Haiti throughout the last probably 25 years, but this is not something that we're looking to at all. Fran and I want to stay close to our grandchildren, our children, so I'm not looking for any ambassadorship anywhere.
Coming up next on Face the State, it will be called Arsenal One, adding to the drone arsenal of the U.S. military. The massive development project will bring millions of dollars and thousands of jobs to Central Ohio. We're breaking down its potential impact. Plus, the future of school funding in Ohio. The debate taking shape now about how schools will receive state money and how much they get. The company's name is Anduril. It makes drones for the military, and it will do that right here in Central Ohio. State leaders and the company made that announcement late this week, calling it an historic economic development project. Anduril will build its Arsenal One site in Pickaway County. It's expected to be a 5 million square foot facility. 10 TV's Kevin Landers looked into why this is being called the single biggest job creator in Ohio history.
It may come as a surprise to some that Ohio would attract a manufacturer that makes drones for the military, but state leaders say they've been trying to do this for 2 decades, in part because of its proximity here to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
They go by the names of Ghost X, Roadrunner, and Fury, killing machines called autonomous drones designed for the battlefield, soon to be made in Pickaway County.
We have an obligation to protect our men and women who we send as a country in harm's way. And what Anduril is doing is giving those men and women who protect us the tools that they need to defend themselves.
Over the next 10 years, Anduril promises to build a massive manufacturing site not far from one of the most preeminent military bases involved in drone warfare.
And one of the reasons that they decide to come here is because of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
5 million square feet, equivalent to 90 football fields, will be the footprint for this defense contractor. It says the electronic battlefield requires the product it makes.
The conflict in Ukraine has exposed a critical vulnerability in the United States' ability to respond to crisis.
The company warned in time of war the U.S. could find itself without enough weapons.
The United States would run out in the first few weeks of any conflict. And lead times to replenish key weapons and munitions average 2 years.
The state says landing Anduril will likely act as a magnet to other suppliers, further strengthening Ohio's role as the Silicon heartland.
Because it sends a signal to not only other defense manufacturers, but also tech companies that Ohio is not a flyover state.
That was Kevin Landers reporting. This 500-acre project will bring a lot of change to the area. More development, more jobs, and more people. So what does that mean for the future? Pickaway County Commissioners Jay Whipple and Gary Shearer tell 10 TV this is an exciting time for the county. They say the county used to be known for manufacturing, but a lot of that industry left. Now, a new industry starting with Anduril has entered the county. The commissioners say this project will get people who grow up in Pickaway County to stay and have well-paying jobs. Local leaders are already working with high schools and career tech centers to train a workforce for Anduril.
An industry that is very exciting. You read about the technology that Anduril is building now and what they will be building in the future. It's going to have an impact on the entire United States, on our defense system, and around the world.
The exciting part of what to expect is the job opportunities for their family. You know, we always like to keep our graduates here in Pickaway County.
Anduril says it plans to pay its employees $132,000 and expects to have its first drone roll off the assembly line next year. Let's bring in 10 TV's Angela Ann. Angela, you've looked into this company, so who exactly are they?
Well, I think a lot of people in Central Ohio said Anduril, Anduril who, and they all went onto the website. And if you look at this video here, I mean, you can see everything from, look at this. This is a submersible, things that they build. They also build, and as we keep scrolling through the website, you'll see a lot of different videos on here. They talk about rebuilding the arsenal. So, of course, that is what's happening here now at Rickenbacker. But keep going down here. They talk about autonomy for every mission. And then they have drone protection, counter UAS. But really, the whole mission is what we're looking at is to transform defense capabilities to use advanced technology. So as we talk about this, Anduril is really trying to merge America's defense with artificial intelligence. Take a look.
Anduril is a young company created in 2017 and based out of Southern California. But they have locations from Seattle to Massachusetts to London. The New York Times calls Anduril an AI military startup. The company founder is Palmer Luckey, the same guy who started the popular Oculus VR, a brand of virtual reality headsets. Anduril describes itself as a leader in autonomous systems and weapons manufacturing, and many of its unmanned air vehicles are built for fighting and finding threats.
So, Doug, many of those products are powered by an AI operating system. It's called Lattice, and you can see there's a tab right there on the top of their website. And it's really a system that the company hopes will really help rebrand and rebuild our national security detail.
Now, we were talking as the story was unfolding about the name of the company and trying to figure out even how it was pronounced.
Right.
But I guess fans of Lord of the Rings would already know how it was pronounced, right?
They might say, wait, I recognize that, because if you are a fan of The Lord of the Rings, then you'll know that King Aragorn, who is in the whole franchise, the name of his sword is Anduril. So whether or not that's a nod to the movie because the CEO maybe is a fan, who knows? But I mean, he is a little eccentric. People know him for the Hawaiian shirt guy. That's what he's known for.
And the creator of the Oculus.
Yeah, creator. Yeah. So, you know, there you go. But it is now a name that will become a household name here in Central Ohio.
And now we all know how to pronounce it, too.
We sure do.
Angela, thank you very much
Thanks.
for that, filling us in on who this company is. And you can hear more about the historic economic development coming to Central Ohio in our new This Week in Boomtown episode with Angela. You can stream it right now on 10 TV Plus. That's our free streaming app available on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. In other news now, as Ohio grows, so are concerns that public schools could receive less funding from the state in the future. Ohio House Speaker Matt Huffman says it's unsustainable for the state to continue funding the schools the way it's currently done. So what does this mean for your tax dollars? 10 TV's Tara Jabor has our story.
Changes could be coming for Ohio public schools. The House Speaker says the money isn't going to be the same as previous years. Now, I spoke to the Ohio Federation of Teachers, who told me that they are disappointed.
House Speaker Matt Huffman says the way schools have been funded through the Fair School Funding Plan isn't really a plan.
Is there, in fact, enough money on transportation? Are we paying our teachers enough? Are we doing the things that we're supposed to, that the plan is called for? The answer is no, because that was never part of any legislation that was passed.
The House Speaker says if nothing changes, it would become unaffordable for taxpayers.
Local school districts that are severely underfunded. There are many school districts that have more money than they know what to do with.
Melissa Cropper, the president of the Ohio Federation of Teachers, disagrees. The union represents over 20,000 educators and school staff across the state.
But we have to put our money where our mouth is. And we hear from the legislature all the time about how important public education is. So if public education is something that we consider very important to our children, then we need to make sure that we fund it.
Cropper says she wants the legislature to continue on the current school funding plan.
So now there's a formula that's actually based upon the components of a high quality education instead of just putting leftover dollars into education. And so our public dollars should be going to public schools, but instead a lot of that is being diverted to private school education.
This is going to be a discussion about what do public schools and community schools and private schools and other schools need to effectively operate their schools.
And the legislature will begin discussions on the budget in the next few weeks. Reporting from the State House, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
Thank you, Tara. And we looked into how Columbus City schools have spent their allotment. The district's website shows as of May 31st of last year, 44% of those funds went to personnel. That covered things including summer learning programs and substitute teachers. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is tomorrow. Coming up next on Face the State, some history on the special day honoring the late civil rights leader and events you can take part in. Inauguration Day is tomorrow. It's also Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is held on the third Monday of January. The last time the inauguration fell on the same day as Martin Luther King Day was President Barack Obama's second inauguration in 2013. According to the National Constitution Center, Martin Luther King Day was finally approved as a national holiday in 1983. All 50 states made it a state government holiday by 2000. This year, the King Center's theme is Mission Possible, protecting freedom, justice, and democracy in the spirit of Nonviolence 365. Dr. King pushed for the end of racial segregation through nonviolent means. The civil rights leader also famously led the March on Washington in 1963 and was instrumental in getting the Civil Rights Act passed. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964 and was assassinated in 1968. Some events are taking place in our area to honor King. The 5th annual MLK March in Linden is set for Monday at noon. Organizers say to meet at the Good Shepherd Baptist Church at 11. The march ends on the corner of Cleveland and 11th Avenue. Then the City of Columbus's annual Martin Luther King Jr. March steps off at 3:30 at the historical Lincoln Theater. Then the program starts at 5 o'clock. We've made it easy to find a list of MLK Jr. Day events happening around Central Ohio. Just text the keyword MLK to the number on your screen, 614-460-3345, and we will send you a list right to your phone. Thank you so much for joining me this week for Face the State. I'm Doug Petcash. I'll see you next Sunday at 11:30. Have a great day.